looks like we're just about set for our race of Castlevania III, or should I say Akumajo Densetsu, because it is the Japanese version of the game. While we put on the finishing touches, let me just mention that after our Castlevania block, we will be having a run of Super Punch-Out. And you can donate for what the file name will be. Currently, Saitama is in the lead with $1,384, and in a very distant second with $656 is John Cena. And also later today is Mirror's Edge. And for that run, you can donate for a third-person cutscene showcase. That needs to reach a goal of $5,000, and we're sitting at currently $4,682.33. So you have some time to get that in. All right, let's try and fit in a donation or two. $100 from Shimmy Z. Back again to donate during this awesome Castlevania block. Good luck, runners. Prove to Dracula that man is more than just a miserable little pile of secrets. This donation goes to Reader's Choice for being awesome. Thank you. Actually, I'll put my choice towards the Mirror's Edge cutscene incentive. $20 from DJ Lowrider. I've been a longtime fan of AGDQ and SGDQ and have donated in the past, but this year is a lot more significant for me. One of my best friends recently started undergoing chemo, and I've resolved to do everything I can to show my support for him. Gee, if this gets read and you're watching, you're going to beat this thing. As for my donation, I say save those frames and kill the animals. $50 from Isilran. Hi everyone, I love following your runs every year, especially for a cause like this one. Keep going. Kisses from south of France. $5 from J Fever. As a poor college student, here is all I can give to this GDQ. My great aunt passed away to bladder cancer when I was very young, but as I got older, I learned about her and everything she did to help me and my family, and what a great woman she was. Let's work to get cancer beat. Let's whip Castlevania pun hype cancer. A anonymous $500 donation. You guys need to stop doing these when I have to go train in the desert with the army halfway through. You guys are masters of your craft, and that both makes me proud and truly motivates me to become a master of mine. Be proud of yourselves. Donation to Runner's Choice. $5 from Tyler Barker. Had to donate now just because K-Mac is wearing a Twins hat. Thank you all for your hard work. Let's kill cancer and the animals. $100 from Ribbons Inc. 126. AGDQ has been truly an insanely awesome experience this week. The runners, the games being wrecked, and the lives that will be saved from the ravages of cancer. This event shows that gamers can come together to support a great cause. Save the frames and kill the animals, guys. They will go poof when you turn on the SNES in the end. The other $75 goes to Runner's Choice. $75 from Zonrith186. My first AGDQ to watch, or in my case listen, since I'm technically working right now. A good event for a great call. Donation goes towards killing the animals. After all, discovery requires experimentation. $25 from Maria87. I just had to squeeze in my donation during the Castlevania block. I lost both grandfathers and several other relatives to cancer. These are spectacular runs. Really looking forward to the Bloodlines one especially. Best of luck to all the runners.
Tell me when to test. Oh, I hear myself. It works.
Never mind. You're tested.
Did you pass? No, I guess I did.
Yep. We're good to go.
Did anybody donate for Help Me is what I wanted.
Unfortunately, Help Me doesn't work in the Japanese version. So, I hope it won.
Okay, we've got a yourself and a bonjour with an exclamation. Is yourself actually going to be?
No, it's.
It can be.
I believe it is.
It is?
I believe it's just supposed to be yourself spelled that way.
So it's going to be the word yourself.
Looks like we're just about set. Are you guys ready for some Castlevania 3?
Yeah!
Yeah.
You guys ready? You guys ready? I'm going to count down.
Kick
All right.
it off, K-Mac.
So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
So this is Castlevania 3, or Akumajo Dansatsu, the Japanese version that they're playing. The first thing you should notice is that the music is amazing. The Japanese version of this game has a special chip in it that gives it higher quality music than is typical for NES games.
It's the VRC 5, correct?
Either that or 6, I forget the number. If anyone isn't familiar with this, I mean, the first stage is pretty similar to Castlevania 1, but then you both get branching stage options along with choices for spirit helper partners, which makes this a really interesting speed game just because of how many different ways there are to play it. They're going to be going the Alucard route, which plays a fairly different set of stages from all of the other routes through the game.
Stage 1 is pretty trivial. I'm not sure if they're going to use axe strats or just whip strats for the boss, but we shall find that out here. It'll be axe. But the goal here is to get the double shot built up, and it's really to just save about maybe half a second to a second on the following stage to kill one of the ghosts, which you will see.
Some enemies have different sprites in this game from the North American release too, like the Flea Man or Killer Bunny Rabbits instead. And the zombies in the last screen had a different look too.
Done?
Sadly, can't go for the campfire with the axe. They are going for fist pump strats then.
Unfortunately, neither was able to get a double shot, so I'm not certain what the strat will be back up, if they'll just take it slow and kill it, or there's one ghost. It's the entire reason to get the axe in this run. They might be able to get it here? No, unfortunately.
Yeah, 'cause getting special weapon multipliers is based on how many hits you do with a weapon once you get it. I believe it's 10 for each upgrade.
Yeah, it was that ghost that was right there, the entire reason to get the axe. Only thing you needed for this run.
known as your good old friends, birds.
What's really weird about this game is in the Japanese version, there's two crosses in the two, I like to call them fiery bird baths, but there's back to back of them, there's a cross in each one, which is really odd for Castlevania to have two sub-weapons and back to back cannons, essentially.
Yeah, there are a couple differences with item placement that do affect speedrun strats. Another meaningful difference is that in the North American version, damage you take when you get hit is fixed depending on what stage you're in. It gradually increases, whereas in this, it just still depends on what kind of hit you take. Like fireballs do less damage than contact damage from enemies, for example.
Yeah, that's the major differences between the Japanese and the US version is those bone pillars were only 4 HP, where in the US version they're 6. Axe Knights are 6 HP in this, whereas in the US version they're 9.
There's a double shot for ohon. I believe the spawns for these mudmen are random.
Yes. The most random part of this run is the owls, this stage with the frogs, and then stage 4, the beginning of stage 5 with the mummies. After that, everything is very on point, very the same every time. For the exception of a couple movement of some axe knights, whether they throw a low or a high axe after that. Other than that, everything is pretty straightforward. This upcoming boss fight is one of the few boss fights that's actually harder in this version than it is compared to the US version. Usually most boss fights are easier in the Japanese version, but it's very
Nice.
specific.
Nice.
Nice. Very nice. Very good. Those are both excellent boss fights for this.
So obviously their goal there was just to keep getting hits in before the bats split apart.
What he did is they were manipulating that fireman so they could get down the stairs cleanly without taking a hit. You want to be able to damage boost through a few things later on in the stage, so having max health is necessary.
So this is the last stage where Ralph, who the protagonist of this game is named in this version, is mostly used.
Before we get to Alucard, can I squeeze in one quick donation?
Go for it.
Yeah, this stage is pretty trivial.
We have $50 from Astrostasis. Thanks for making this work week a little more tolerable. Donation goes to one of my favorite runners, Puexel's Choice.
So one issue with this game is...
I'll get back to you after.
Yeah, that was a very unfortunate drop because you want to keep the cross for Dracula and the stage 7 boss. So we're going to get to see some improvisation from ohon here.
Yeah, that is one of the big kind of dangers in this game for speedrunning, is getting a bad sub-weapon drop when you don't want it. It becomes much less of an issue in this particular run after you get Alucard, but sadly that hasn't happened yet.
And the dagger is, out of all of them, probably the last thing you want to see.
Very good. Very nice.
Very good improv by Ohon.
I think he's gotten that drop once or twice before.
Or died at some point and lost his cross. So once you get a spirit partner, you can change between them and Ralph at any point by pressing select, but the animation to do that takes, what is it, like 8 seconds or so? Or?
It is 4.5 seconds to switch between characters. It's very slow, and that's why they're going to immediately switch to Alucard, and if everything goes well, they'll switch back to Trevor for just 2 boss fights, and then right back. What's nice about Alucard is you can fly, obviously, and skip a lot of long platforming sections by just going up.
And then when you turn into the bat with Alucard, which is just the main reason to recruit him, you do lose hearts. But in the Japanese version, the rate that you lose hearts when you're using the bat is slower than in the North American version. So that lets them just use the bat a lot more liberally as part of their route.
Yeah, the one thing about Alucard is you cannot use your fireballs on stairs. You are defenseless other than switching to a bat.
Still makes me sad that there's no route for this game that goes to the Sunken City. I like that stage.
Very good. That's the one, like, this boss fight is a major difference between the 2 versions. Like, you could not do that boss fight that they just did in the US version. You see the bones flying around, it's only 2 in the US version. Every time you hit them in the US version, another bone appears on the screen, so you have like 9 of them circling you. Pretty impossible.
I believe the main reason Ohon did that fight with Ralph was to get the cross in that stage and then to get a multiplier for it.
He wants to get it built up so he can do the optimal Drac strats later on.
Yeah, you can jump as the bat too to gain height faster, which is what Ohon was doing there.
That's right. He'll be able to pick, there's a meat right in front of the boss, right before it, the screen before it, so it should be good to go.
A lot of the section is very tight on where you need to squeeze through.
That was very good.
Yeah. I believe he was only capable of doing that boost because of the damage difference in the Japanese version too. I think once you're to this point in US, everything does 4 damage.
Very good.
And then just like in CV1, they want to have as few hearts as possible ending a stage to minimize the countdown, so if they have any left, they'll just turn into the bat and burn them.
Now for the longest stage of the game. And it's actually much quicker with Alucard, and it's still extremely long.
Yes.
It's a good 4.5, almost 5 minutes.
It's awful with just Trevor.
It is.
Yeah, I consider this the most difficult stage in the game just because of how long it is. There's well, the second boss is kind of tough. The first is fairly trivial, and then there's very little meat too.
Yeah. This was probably the hardest stage for me to do when I got into running this game. It took me the longest to learn, I would say. Just because there's two meats in the stage. There's one in the middle and then one right in front of the boss. But there's a lot of things that can go wrong in a 5-minute stage.
And it's got a pretty lengthy auto-scroller too, although they're going to be able to skip most of it with Alucard.
Yeah.
This is basically just a rematch with the swamp bat boss.
Good boss fight.
He got demoted to a mini boss after being defeated.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
I mean, most of these bosses, it would probably be a hair faster to fight them as Ralph with the cross, but the time you'd lose from having to switch to him and then back to Alucard would make it slower.
So good.
Oh, this is fun here. Bye-bye.
Yep. You're invincible in that changing animation when you change from Alucard to the bat. It's about, I think, 5 or 6 frames of invincibility, and you just use that, and birds die on collision, so you're able to kill them both off without taking any damage. It's really nice.
Skip that floating platform room with the bat. Despawn Medusas with that too. That's very nice.
Now we have another auto-scroller.
Yep. The goal in this auto-scroller is to get as many hearts for the boss. You want close to 20, if not over 20.
Because the boss of this stage is actually 3 different fights. It's a pair of mummies, kind of similar to the mummy boss from Castlevania 1, then a Cyclops, which is actually the only one you fight in this category, and then a giant gargoyle, which is the highest HP boss in the game. And just because of how much boss HP you have to burn through, it does end up being faster to use Ralph for those.
Hopefully Cyclops plays nice.
Ooh. Nice.
Good to go.
Good point. Also a good fight. Oh. That's
a
unfortunate.
very unfortunate
Yeah.
death because of you have to do this auto-scroller again, and it's a good minute and a half loss.
Is he able to get another cross before?
He is, not on this stage. He'll be able to get an axe. Very good. Yeah, the next spot to get across would be stage 8 on the hallway before death there.
When he died, not only did Trevor lose all of his stuff, Alucard also lost his upgrade and his stopwatch.
Yeah, deaths are unfortunately pretty punishing in this game. So that's one of the, especially running this game for a live marathon like this, it's one of the challenges. Is
That
being able
frame
to
perfect
recover
character
from deaths
switch.
if you have to.
So good.
Because like doing a normal run, you'd probably just reset if something like that happened, but here they need to plan out how to recover. Nice floor boost there.
He got the good luck. Excellent.
Nice.
Yep. Bat actually moves faster. He moves at the same rate that Grant would walk, rather than just your character walking. So you try to be a bat as much as possible in this run. Nice.
Very nice form 1 death.
He's just trying to get in Death's face too, so all 3 of his fireballs hit at once.
Very good
Very
fight.
nice.
Very good.
Very nice fight over there, too.
Yes. Death stage 2 is where all of the different routes through the game come back together too, regardless of which other stages or spirit partner you took. Fortunately, with Alucard, getting sub-weapon drops off these killer rabbits is not really an issue like it would be in other characters.
Yeah, the only sub-weapon Alucard can use is the watch, so there's no surprises, no dirty drops.
And Riddle in Japanese version is so good. Yeah, this room is definitely easier than in the English version just because the bone pillars have a different firing pattern that makes it easier to get through them fast.
They are much slower.
So this is an auto-scroller, although it's a pretty creative kind of auto-scroller for an NES game too.
If you take the Sypha or the Grant route, or just Trevor alone for that matter, you'll go through another auto-scroller just like this. And the theory in that stage is that Frankenstein is just punching the floor down.
Yeah.
And this one, I don't know, we can blame the birds, can't we?
That's always a safe bet.
Yep.
Is emo skeleton possible in this version?
I have not seen it done in this version.
That's it. That's just a auto-scroller amusement thing where you manipulate the spawn of a skeleton so it just falls off as soon as
From the
spawn
ceiling
hits.
down
Yeah.
and then pit to its death.
Another good death fight over there.
This room is pretty awful in other categories, but with Alucard you can just fly up.
Trevor only is probably the absolute worst run for that room.
And again, he was abusing the fact that he's invincible while turning into or out of the bat.
Now the goal here is to fly to the door, and this is the hardest by far boss fight in the game. The idea is to take fireball damage. Very good.
Nice.
Very good.
Nice. Yeah, I believe changing to Ralph would have made that fight a bit safer, but also slower.
Absolutely. Yeah, the idea there is to take the fireball damage, because the fireballs only do 2 HP damage, whereas collision damage with Doppelganger is 4. So you want to try and use those iframes to pummel him and just stand really close and get the fireballs off as fast as possible. It's a very good fight. Getting that first try is not easy.
So Ohon's on the final stage now.
He's trying to stay near the top of the screen and get the Medusa heads to spawn as high as possible. So
Yes.
this room is extremely laggy, and the Medusa heads do not help that.
Most of the blocks on that bridge are crumble blocks too, so being able to fly over her helps a lot. There's not much you can do about that skeleton with Alucard just because he can't attack on the stairs.
Yeah, fortunately, Drac is not too difficult if you're able to do optimal strats. You should not take any damage in the fight. So
This room is much easier in this version of the game too. In the North America version, there's bats that get in your way when you're crossing the pendulums.
Everything's better with bats.
If you die at a Drac, you also start right here too, instead of having to play A2 again.
So hopefully he's able to hit this. It's a one cycle. Very good.
Nice.
Very nice.
And this is extremely laggy, as you can see. He wants to maintain 5 for the... Alright, that's perfect. And this is a 2-cycle boss. Excellent.
And time for Ohon.
That was fantastic. Very good job.
Yeah, great run.
That was a 26:39 for Ohon.
Nice.
That's really good.
World record is 26:03.
That was with a knife drop
Yeah.
in Alucard stage.
A few
too.
extra character switches. Everything was on point there. They're perfect execution.
And here we're seeing the cheese strat for the Doppelganger.
This is pretty much how I always had to beat the Doppelganger as a kid. Every time you change, you get a little bit of delay before he attacks you, so you can just keep doing that over and over again to cheese him out.
During this boss fight, can I make a couple announcements? Okay, we opened up a couple more bonus game incentives just now. For $20,000, you can see a glitch exhibition of Pokemon Blue. you know how glitchy Pokemon games are, you would love to see how this goes. And immediately after that would be, for $4,000, a run of Final Fantasy 1.
Oh, put that donation for me towards Final Fantasy.
You got it. And also those runs will be right after Pokemon Yellow? Yeah, Pokemon Yellow.
And starring Ralph Belmond, yourself. This will be an interesting drag fight for Ion with the axe.
He's using.
Oh, all right.
You got the
there.
cross. It's right there.
Unfortunately, it won't have triple shot.
Yeah, they're nice in this version to give you a cross. That candle is a dagger in the US
Yeah.
version. I believe he may still be able to two-cycle with a single cross, the third form of this boss fight. Not 100% certain on that, though.
There's actually another change between the English and Japanese versions here. His lasers are not anywhere near as big as they are in the US version.
Babby lasers.
Time.
That's a 31:45 for Ion.
All right, and things are only going to get more difficult. Now we have CV4 hard mode with Just Defend. It's a fantastic run.
Indeed we do, but let's hear it for Iongravirei and ohon one more time. Before we get to Castlevania IV, let's go to a quick commercial break. This is Awesome Games Done Quick 2016, sponsored by Port Games. For more information, please go to tokyotech.net. Once again, I want to mention we opened up a couple more game donations from bonus games. If you would like to see, after Pokemon Yellow, a glitch exhibition in Pokemon Blue, that will be run right after that if you meet the donation goal of $20,000. And immediately after that, for another $4,000, you can see a run of Final Fantasy I. Which you'd think that would be long, but Final Fantasy may be just as glitchy as Pokemon Blue. Coming up later in the afternoon is Mirror's Edge, and there is a donation incentive to see a third-person cutscene showcase. And currently, we are about $150 away from meeting our goal of $5,000 for that. So if you like to see that, get it in as soon as possible. Let's try and zip through a couple donations while Just Defense sets up. We got $10 from Mr. Wizard. Castlevania III blew my mind as a kid. Alucard spells Dracula backwards? I lost my mind. Love AGDQ and all the good that comes from it. Here's to you all. $9.05 from Connor136. Super rad to catch the Castlevania block. First time donating and won't be my last. Love you all and what you all do. Let's save those animals. $25 from Adrian. I've only known AGDQ for a year, but I've already wasted a lot of nights staying up to watch you guys show those games who's boss. Keep up the great work. What you do is amazing. Thanks to both the players and the volunteers who make those events possible. $20 from Bonefoot. Thank you to everyone who was involved in putting this event together. Great cause. $50 from an anonymous donor. Big fan of AGDQ. Watched it the past couple of years. Lost my mom to cancer. Let's